friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria, and today we're gonna go through my August TBR. So I have quite a few books on my TBR. It's the same as last month. I have Libby holds. I don't know what I've done to myself. The issue here is that I have a few library cards from different libraries across a couple of states where I've lived, and I have so many holds, and then they're starting to come available that it's like, that's all I can read. It's really, the past couple of months has been really brutal because I added another card, like a psycho, and I don't know. Like in my brain, I'm like, all these new books are coming available. I wish I had enough holds so I could put them on hold. But anyway, this month, I have a lot of spooky stuff that's ready to read. Mostly new releases. They're pretty much all 2023 new releases with just a few that I've been meaning to read and throwing in there some spooky ones. So mostly spooky or thriller, a little bit. There'll be a couple in there thrown in that might be fantasy or just like general fiction kind of stuff, but overall mostly spooky. I am getting ready for Halloween. Halloween is on my mind. It's gotten to the point where like my For You page and everything on, TikTok and Instagram are like Halloween things. So it's just like it's consuming me. And that's what happens every year. But I like get through that, while this time I do try to read like more spooky horror books that are kind of summery. So I do try to add those in a little bit more, especially around this time. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get on to what I'm reading this month. The first book I have on the list is A House with Good Bones by T. King Fisher. Now, I know that they write a lot of books. I'm pretty sure I've read something by them before, or maybe not. I know that Nettle and Bone and What Moves the Dead have been on my list for a while now, especially What Moves the Dead, and I've checked out Nettle and Bone twice and I just haven't gotten to it. So I actually did have that checked out for July, and I just did not get to it, but I decided to hold that off until like next spring. It feels like kind of like a springy read to me. So that's what I did with that one. But I'm gonna read A House with Good Bones. I'll give a quick synopsis of what this is about. It says that it's a haunting Southern Gothic, which I love. I love a Southern Gothic. It explores the dark, twisted roots lurking just beneath the veneer of a perfect home and family. Oh, okay. I mean, already that little snippet is like exactly the kind of thing that I would love and go for. I love a Gothic, especially a Southern Gothic, being from the South. Off the bat, it says, Mom seems off. And it says, her brother's words echo in Sam Montgomery's ear as she turns onto the quiet North Carolina street where her mother lives alone. It says that when she steps inside her house, she quickly realizes home isn't what it used to be. Gone is the warm, cluttered charm her mom is known for. Now the walls are painted a sterile white. Her mom jumps at the smallest noises and looks over her shoulder even when she's the only person in the room. And when Sam steps out back to clear her head, she finds a jar of teeth hidden beneath the magazine-worthy rose bushes, and vultures are circling the garden above. To find out what's got her mom so frightened in her own home, Sam will go digging for the truth, but some secrets are better left buried. That sounds really good. I love this kind of like family mystery. There's something wrong with someone in the family, someone you're close to, and that normally someone you could trust, and then it's like something's off and something's off. And yeah, I love this kind of premise, and I'm really excited about it. Oh, it sounds spooky and scary, and that's exactly what I need. I'm pretty sure I'm reading, like, this will be my first read of the month. I actually have it checked out now, and today is July 31st, and I think I only have 3 days left on the loan, so I will be reading this ASAP. Okay, next up we have a thriller, and it's supposed to be like really beachy, summery, so perfect for the August wrapping up the summer feels. But it's Never Coming Home by Kate M. Williams. Now it says that this is the beach read you have been dying for. When 10 of America's hottest teenage influencers are invited to an exclusive island resort, things are sure to get wild, but murder isn't what anyone expected. Will anyone survive? This just sounds fun. This sounds like a good time, an easy, quick, fast-paced beachy thriller, which I absolutely love. And I'm hoping in August that the weather is a little bit kinder, it's not so hot, so I could just go and hang out by the pool a little bit more and not be baking away in the sun, because obviously I'm very pale and the sun is not my friend. So I only like to go when it's like not so hot and I can get a cabana at the pool and just like hang. But this sounds so funny and fun. I work in influencer marketing. That's like, I'm not an influencer, I'm not saying that, but I work in influencer marketing on the brand side. So I work with influencers every single day, you know, handling collaboration, seeding product, relationships, recruiting, that kind of thing. So I love the aspect of this. And, you know, just there's something about influencers that it's so easy to make fun of. And, you know, coming from a place where I work with them every day, influencers do work hard and they do their job and they play a role, especially when it comes to advertising. It is an important job that they have, and when it comes to the marketing and advertising world. So but I love the kind of trope of like, you know, silly influencers, like self-absorbed kind of influencer kind of thing. So this just sounds funny, kind of like a battle royale kind of thing. I don't know if they're going to go after each other, or if there's like one person going after them, or what's going on. I think it's gonna be silly, fun, maybe a little campy. And I think it might be a little bit of a spooky slasher, but not too serious, which sometimes that's exactly what you need, you know? So looking forward to that one. This one might have been on my July TBR, but I haven't gotten to it. I actually just got it available from the library. So I will be definitely reading this within the next couple of weeks, but it's Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Now, I've read 2 of her other books. Mexican Gothic, which I really enjoyed. It's definitely a slow burn. The atmosphere is good in there, but it's a slow burn, kind of weird, like really bizarre kind of thing. And the twist is actually surprising. So I really enjoyed Mexican Gothic. I know that it's kind of like splitsies for some people. I know people that have loved it, and I know people that have hated it. So, but for me, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good one. I also read Velvet Was the Night. It wasn't my favorite. I still enjoyed it. It was just very much like a historical fiction. Kind of the thriller there was like pretty minimal, but I'm really excited about this one. This is a fabulous meld of Mexican horror movies and Nazi occultism, a dark thriller about the curse that haunts a legendary lost film and awakens one woman's hidden powers. So this sounds really interesting, weird, bizarre, which is exactly what I am looking for. It sounds that it's about a woman who does work in like the film industry, but she has not been super successful, and she ends up like being neighbors with a really popular cult horror director. And you know, something comes up, it seems, where he is like offering her riches or something to change their lives when it comes to getting into the business. And I don't know what, for the sake of what, or what that trade-off is, but it sounds really interesting. It also says that eventually they notice a dark presence following them. So I don't know if it's gonna be, it turned into like a haunting ghost, spooky ghost, I don't know, but it sounds really weird and fun and bizarre, and I'm totally open to that. I also really enjoy kind of like the idea of like cults and occultists and that area when it comes to reading books. Can't wait to give it a go. I also am a huge movie buff. I love movies and horror, so whenever books kind of tie that in, I'm immediately into that. Okay, next on the list is Tell Me I'm Worthless by Alison Rumfitt. I don't think I've read anything by this author before, but it says that it's a dark, unflinching, haunted house story that confronts both supernatural and real-world horrors through the lens of the modern-day trans experience. So I really love the idea of bringing in, you know, the trans experience aspect into this, into a horror book, and how those, like the commentary there, and how that can play together into this haunted house story. I also love a haunted house story. I'm constantly seeking, you know, new ones out, trying to find what's best and what's next. It seems that our main character Alice at one point had gone to this abandoned house with her friends a few years prior, And something happened whenever they did that, and ever since she has just been spiraling out of control, and she's just been struggling since then. She's like haunted by the visions of this abandoned house that they had stayed at or went to, and she asks her friend to go back with her. It seems that they go back to this house to really just like find out what's going on, see if they can get a grip on reality or what was going on in this abandoned house that they think is haunted. And yeah, figuring out what to do from there and see if they could like piece everything together. So I'm excited to see how it goes. I mean, I feel like the reviews have been pretty good for this so far, so can't wait to give this one a try. Sounds right up my alley. Next, we have The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Now, I'm sure you've heard about this one. It's been kind of all over the place the past couple of months. It's about a woman named Emma who is at a cabin, I believe on a beach, and she's just isolated there. It's just her and her dog. And while she is at this cabin, she reads a book. She did not like it, so she leaves a really horrible book review of this book. And it seems that the author of this book is unwell and finds out that it's her and goes after her. I've heard mixed things about this simply because, you know, some people that I trust will be like, it's super campy, like ridiculous at times. But that's kind of the whole point of it. And I get why some people wouldn't like that. They would think like this is just ridiculous and silly, but to me, I'm like, that sounds so fun. I love when books are kind of like self-aware like that. And even if like what happens is so dumb, it's just like the game of it all, the fun of it all. And how can we, you know, say something, but say it in a funny and entertaining way. So that's what I hope happens with this one. I have heard mixed reviews, like I said, but I'm definitely wanting to give it a go. It sounds like a quick, easy, fast-paced thriller. Okay, next on the list is Sisters of the Lost Nation by Nick Medina. This is a debut novel, so really excited to give this a read and try out a new author. It is a horror thriller, and basically it says it's about a young Native girl's hunt for answers about the women mysteriously disappearing from her tribe's reservation, and it leads her to delve into the myths and stories of her people, all while being haunted herself. And this atmospheric and stunningly poignant debut. So that sounds amazing to me right off the bat. It says that with strange and sinister happenings occurring around the casino, Anna starts to suspect that not all the horrors on the reservation are old. As girls begin to go missing and the tribe scrambles to find answers, Anna struggles with her place on the res, desperately searching for the key she sure lies in the legends of her tribe's past. So sounds like, you know, it's kind of like a generational story, finding out who you are, your history, your family's history, all while there's a haunting thriller, people are disappearing, you know, a lot of stuff going on and taking place. But it says like it's a part gripping thriller and part mythological horror. It also sounds a little bit like White Horse by Erica Worth, just in the sense that it is kind of like mythological but also horror at the same time, or like real life horror going on at the same time. Because that book, also written by a Native American, it goes into kind of her family and tribe's past, how that ties into, you know, the horrors that are going on now. And I really enjoyed that book. I thought that was a really great read. Also, it's based, the setting is based like in Denver and around Colorado. So it was really cool because so many places that she went I knew and I have also been. So I thought that was really interesting. If you haven't read that, give it a try. I wouldn't say it's super scary or anything, but it's definitely thrilling, and there's some twists there that were really good that I enjoyed. But I am hoping this one, Sisters of a Lost Nation, is a little bit scarier than that one and really brings that horror aspect and that haunting forward. So next up we have Burn the Negative by Josh Winning. Now this is another one that has to do with movies and film, so I was excited about that. There's actually a lot coming out with those kinds of premises lately, which is great to see. I love to see it. So, but this one is, it's a mashup of horror and suspense, and it's about a notorious slasher film is being remade, and the curse that haunted it is reawakened. So our main character Laura, who's grown up now, but when she was younger, she was in a 90s horror movie, and everyone kind of thought this movie was haunted or cursed because 8 people from the cast died. So that's not good. that's not good. The way that they all died was pretty similar or mirrored how they died in the film. So it made the movie a cult classic because of that, but it also ruined her life. Now it seems that someone is remaking this film, or at least, like, you know, we're seeing it all day, every day now. It's like, you know, revamping it in a new way, and it seems that more bad things have started to happen in regards to the new film. So I'm interested how she gets involved. What's going on here? Is there a slasher? Is there a serial killer actually murdering these people, or is there a haunting going on? I don't know, but it sounds really interesting, intriguing, and I love this premise. I think it's such a good one, kind of like a little bit like Scream, especially like Scream 2, whenever they make the movie of Scream, and you know, the beginning of Scream 2, whenever they're at the theater, and it's what's her name? Will Smith's wife. Gosh, I can't remember. Jada Pinkett Smith. And she gets murdered in the theater, and but it's like we see everything get remade into a movie, but it mirrors what happened on screen. I always like that kind of trope, but yeah, looking forward to this one. I think it's gonna be really good, and I hope it's scary. I feel like with slashers like these, they can be silly or they can be scary, or a mixture of both, but I would like it to be more on the scary side, so here's to hoping. Next up, we have A Most Agreeable Murder by Julia Seals. Now, I don't know why I'm reading this or have it on my list, but it sounded fun and cute and a little bit cozy, but it definitely seems like a cozy mystery suspense kind of book. But it says it's a delightful cocktail that mixes elements of the Bridgerton series, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, and Agatha Christie's Miss Marple mysteries, and the payoff is a wealth of wit, hilarity, and suspense. So it just sounds like a murder mystery based in like high society London, I would guess, or something along those lines. But it says, when a wealthy bachelor drops dead at a ball, a young lady takes on the decidedly improper role of detective in this action-packed debut comedy of manners and murder. So it just sounds fun and cozy, something easy to read. Especially, I find a lot of times when I'm reading like these intense horror books, it's nice to like throw one of these in there. Just something like a little bit easy, not so high stakes, and that is not gonna make me anxious. So, but I love getting anxious and getting scared, but it's nice to throw these in. And I saw this and I was like, you know, that sounds fun and cute. And it did sound a little bit summery to really like wrap up the summer season. So before I get into like horror, like really spooky horror stuff. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's gonna be cute and fun. I don't have a ton of high hopes for it. It's also like has that historical fiction aspect of it, which I thoroughly enjoy. I love historical fictions. So I don't see how this could be a bad time unless the writing is awful and the story is dumb, or they try to really push a romance in there somewhere that I do not want. So I just want the mystery and suspense. I would just like to solve a murder. So excited to give this one a go. Next up, we have The Book of the Most Precious Substance by Sarah Gran. This is a thriller fiction. It seems really weird and kind of funny. So basically, our main character, she is a novelist, Lily. She undergoes, there's some kind of tragedy in her life, and she just resigns herself to a dull, sexless life as a rare bookseller, and until she gets a lead on the book that might turn everything around. So I guess she ends up finding a 17th century manual on sex magic, rumored to be the most powerful occult book ever written, if it really exists at all. And it seems like some of the wealthiest people in the world are willing to pay Lily a fortune to find this book if she can. So it's like us following her across countries, internationally, all over the place in search for this book and its powers, because if she finds it, she could have all the wealth and completely change her life around. It says, a mysterious book that promises unlimited power and unrivaled sexual pleasure, a down-on-her-luck book dealer hoping for the sale of a lifetime, and a twist so shocking no one will come out unscathed. So it sounds weird and definitely unique, and I'm open for something new and different, and yeah, I am excited to give this a try. But I'm looking forward to this. It's definitely different than most things that I've read, and the premise is very unique, so I'm here for it. Up next, we have a book by Emma Cline. It's called The Guest. I did read The Girls by her, and I did enjoy it. It was not my favorite, but I did like it. But the premise of this one sounds super interesting. I'll just read the synopsis to you, but it says, summer is coming to a close on the east end of Long Island, and Alex is no longer welcome. A misstep at a dinner party, and the older man she's been staying with dismisses her with a ride to the train station and a ticket back to the city. With few resources and a waterlogged phone, but gifted with the ability to navigate the desires of others, Alex stays on Long Island and drifts like a ghost through the hedged lanes, gated driveways, and sun-blasted dunes of a rarefied world that is at first closed to her. Propelled by desperation and a mutable sense of morality, she spends the week leading up to Labor Day moving from one place to the next, a cipher leaving destruction in her wake. Okay, so it doesn't give much away, but I absolutely love this kind of premise where she is very much, seems like to be a sugar baby kind of situation. Don't know what she does, but she gets thrown out by her sugar daddy, and now she's just wandering, using her wits and charm to get her along. Also, perfect timing. It's like for the last week of August, that's the perfect book. It's like, summer is coming to an end. Summer's coming to an end for us too. It's a perfect time to read this book. I'm really excited. I also love settings that are in like the Northeast kind of area. I find those to be some of my favorite settings for books. But it seems that there'll be some commentary. It'll be a little bit witty, and I'm excited to get wrapped up in this one. It sounds really strange and unique and exactly what I would want. So I hope I like this better than The Girls. That one is about cults, and it wasn't bad. It was just like mostly typical kind of thing. I was not blown away or felt like anything was really new given to me when it comes to cults kind of idea. It's very much plays off of like the Manson family vibes, but this one sounds interesting, and I can't wait to give it a try and see what it's actually all about. Up next, we have The Bandit Queens by Parina Shroff. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I'm so excited about this one. This has been on my list for a minute, and I am getting into it this month. I am for sure getting to it. But basically, it's a thriller about women getting revenge on their no-good husbands. Our main character, Geeta, her husband just up and left her, and it's been years, and everyone in her village in remote India just assumes that she killed him. And it's a rumor that won't go away. Everyone just thinks it with small towns, small villages, once people start to say something and they start to talk, that's what they believe. So she's having to deal with this. She lost her husband. He's a goner. He's just left her behind. But since he has left, she has made the most of it and still lived her life, and has been successful in her own right. And a lot of the other women in the village are seeing, her live her life to the fullest, be happy, not have a crappy husband to deal with, and they're jealous and they want in on this. And it seems like these women in this village that are wanting to also get rid of their husbands are going to Geeta to get info on how they can get rid of their husbands. So I don't know if there's actually going to be murder or what's going on, but it sounds fun. The commentary, I'm sure, is there. It sounds like it will be. especially about being a wife and, you know, feminism and misogyny, the patriarchy, all those things. And it just sounds like a really interesting, fun premise that I can't wait to read. Also, I'm pretty sure this is a debut, which is awesome because I love this premise. Good for her. So yeah, I can't wait to give this a read. I think I'm really gonna love this one. Next up is a horror called Camp Damascus by Chuck Tingle. Now this is LGBTQI+ kind of novel. It is about a conversion camp, and I don't know a ton about this honestly, but it says that nestled high up in the mountains is Camp Damascus, the self-proclaimed most effective gay conversion camp in the country. Here, a life free from sin awaits, but the secret behind that success is anything but holy, and they'll scare you straight to hell. This sounds right up my alley. I'm very interested in these kinds of ideas and premises, and of course, you know, that Southern God-fearing kind of let's scare them into submission kind of idea when it comes to religion and, you know, just like mentally how that messes with people. And this sounds so interesting to me. I'm really excited. I hope it's scary. I think it might even be on the level of extreme horror, so be aware there. Maybe look into some trigger warnings, and I'm sure just going off what I was talking about, there are some trigger warnings, but I can't wait to give this a try. I also think for like right now, this will be the perfect time to read it, especially like a camp book. I also am going camping in a few weeks in the month of August, so maybe I will save this one for the camping trip, and I'll do like another camping reading vlog because this sounds so good. Now, going off of that religious trauma, religion, spooky horror area, we have another book in that arena that's on my list, and it's called Lay Your Body Down by Amy Suter Clark. But this is a mystery thriller suspense, but it says a young woman returns to her rural Minnesota hometown where a radical evangelical pastor has poisoned everybody's mind and may be covering up a murder. Same as with the last book, I love, you know, these people when it comes to these kind of organizations and extremists and how they preach these things and then they don't live by them at all, and it's just so hypocritical. And that sounds kind of like where this is going as well, except even worse because there's a murder going on. So she goes to her hometown for a funeral, and she discovers that the now mega church has insidious patriarchal teachings by this pastor, and it's grown to a very large size, and also its influence has grown. So I'm interested to see the mystery here, what's going to happen, and just the stakes when it comes to this religious institution and this one church that has gone to the extremes and has so much sway within the community. Next up, we have the Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. This is a thriller suspense mystery, and basically we have these women who, whenever they were in college, they did a study abroad in France, and an opportunity has come up for them all to go back to this chateau and spend a week or a weekend, I'm not sure how long, but to go back to the chateau for a trip. And when they do, each of them have their own reasons for going back. We don't know what's going on with each of them, but something is happening, and then one of them turns up murdered, and it devolves into them trying to figure out who's murdered this person, what's going on, like unraveling the secrets going on here. And sounds fun. The atmosphere is really where I'm like really wanting this to like hit home, in a French chateau, and the cover looks amazing, and I just want the atmosphere to be so good in this, and that's mainly why I'm reading this. So I am hoping overall for a good mystery, but mostly an amazing spooky house atmosphere. That's what I want. Next, we have a general contemporary literary fiction called Ripe, and this is by Sarah Rose Etter. Now, This one sounds really weird and a little bit bizarre, but that's exactly the kind of thing that I love. It is about a woman named Cassie who she basically is living the corporate life, but it's awful and a nightmare. And, you know, she has to deal with horrible bosses and, you know, unethical practices from her company. And she's struggling with, she's in Silicon Valley. So she's struggling with the contrast of all of this immense wealth as well, but then, you know, you look over and there's all this poverty as well, and her being involved in these companies that aren't really giving back or doing their parts. Then it seems that there's kind of like a fantasy aspect to this book, because it says that though isolated, Cassie is never alone. From her earliest memory, a miniature black hole has been her constant companion. It feeds on her depression and anxiety, growing or shrinking in relation to her distress. The black hole watches, but it also waits. Its relentless pull draws Cassie ever closer as the world around her unravels. So I am really interested to see where this goes. It sounds weird, a little bit bizarre. It also says that it's kind of like darkly comic, which is great. It has some satire there, I guess, and you know, I think it might even be a little bit similar to like Bunny or something like that, where the person might be a little bit unhinged or unreliable, and I'm here for it, and the cover looks awesome. I don't really imagine a scenario where I don't like this. This sounds exactly something I would love. I love, you know, commentary on depression, anxiety, and, you know, those kinds of aspects, as well as the wealth and the corporate greed aspects of that as well, whenever, you know, you are working for a company that you don't fully agree with. So I think a lot of us can relate to that in some aspects. So I'm looking forward to this. I am hoping for a weird, bizarre, unhinged kind of time with this one. We have A Good House for Children by Kate Collins. Now, this is a debut novel, and it says it's a feminist gothic mystery spanning decades in the vein of Mexican Gothic and The Essex Serpent. I haven't read that second one, but otherwise sounds right up my alley. And it's about a woman. She used to have all of these, you know, aspirations and hobbies and things that she, you know, cared about and would do, but now she is a mom and a wife, and those have been put on the back burner, and she is just focusing on, you know, handling a household. And her husband Nick has basically, you know, said, you know, let's move, we need to go to a bigger house, get out of this apartment, and buy a home to raise our children in. A good house for children. So she agrees, and it says that it's a antiquated Georgian house on the Dorset Cliffs. Yes, that's exactly what I want to read. Give me the atmosphere. And but it says a good house for children, tons of space and gorgeous grounds. But as the family settles into the mansion, Nick absent all week, commuting to the city for work, Orla finds herself unsettled. She hears voices when no one is around, doors open and close on their own, and her son Sam, who has not spoken in 6 months, seems to have made an imaginary friend whose motives Orla does not trust. Yes, this is exactly what I want. I love haunted house. I love when the kid gets involved. I love the imaginary friend trope. I love it when it comes to spooky stuff. So I can't wait to give this one a try. I'm hoping it's scary and spooky. And also the element of, you know, a gothic mystery spanning decades. That sounds, I wonder where that's gonna go in and where this is gonna wrap everything together. But so it looks like we actually get another POV from 4 decades earlier from a woman named Lydia, who was a live-in nanny in the same house. So we're getting 2 POVs from the hauntings in this house, and I guess we'll be shown how what happened to these women and what happened with the hauntings in this house, and trying to like solve what's going on here. Wow, I'm really excited about this one. I had never read that far prior to putting this on hold, so that's so funny. I'm really excited about this. I love intergenerational or like multiple point of views if it's done well. Usually if it's just two, that's pretty easy to get right, but I'm excited about this. It's like double The Haunting, so I'm so excited. I can't wait for this one. 100% reading that one this month. Next one is The Camp by Nancy Bush. This is a horror, suspense, thriller, all the spooky stuff. It says that it's perfect for readers of Riley Sager and Grady Hendrix, which, yeah. And it says it's a chilling new read from the New York Times bestselling author where a diabolical modern twist on Friday the 13th meets Yellow Jackets at a summer sleepaway camp isolated in the woods of Oregon. Yes, this sounds so good. I am so excited for this. I will probably save this to read on my camping trip that we're having. These are a little bit longer, so I'll probably end up just reading two. I'll read this one and the Camp Damascus one, but I don't even know what this is going to be about. I don't know if it's going to be a slasher or what's going on here, and I honestly don't want to read too much into the synopsis because I want to be surprised by this one. It sounds fun, sounds perfect for summer, for camping, and spooky. So yeah, I can't wait to give this one a go. Hello, it's Victoria from the future. I have two books that I wanted to add to my TBR that I totally forgot about because I got them through NetGalley and not Libby. But the first one is Delicate Condition by Danielle Valentine. I'm really excited about this one. It says that it's kind of like a mix between The Push and The Silent Patient, which sounds great to me. But I'll read the synopsis here. We have Anna Alcott is desperate to have a family, but as she tries to balance her increasingly public life as an indie actress with a grueling IVF journey, she starts to suspect that someone is going to great lengths to make sure that never happens. And apparently medicines are lost, appointments are swapped or mixed up. She's getting these weird cryptic warnings that are making her really paranoid and anxious. And she's going through all of this turmoil and having IVF, which is enough stress in itself. Major trigger warning for loss of a child and miscarriage, but she is told by her doctor that she has had a miscarriage, but she does not believe it. She 100% believes that she's still pregnant. She feels, things inside. She thinks that she's still having a baby, and as time goes on, she's like, there's more sinister things going on. Very much like a Rosemary's Baby kind of thing. She's like, what's growing in me? What is happening to me? And I absolutely love this kind of premise. Rosemary's Baby is one of my favorite movies of all time, definitely like in my top 5. And I love how haunting this kind of premise is, and you're just like the loss of control kind of thing. And I can't wait to give this one a read. I'm really excited. I got it through NetGalley. It is out now. It came out on August 1st, so I'm definitely gonna read it this month, and I will probably feature it in a vlog. But yeah, stay tuned to see what I think about that one. 100% reading that one. Okay, and then the next book that I forgot to mention that I'm throwing in here is Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. She's the author of Hyde. Now, Hyde was kind of a flop for me, so I am hoping this one does better, but the premise of this is like, oh my gosh, it's right up my alley. Little blurbs about it. It says that in this skin-crawling story of pop culture fandom and 90s nostalgia, Kirsten White fully delivers on her gripping premise, the troubled reunion 30 years later of the cast of a magical kids show that exists only in its viewers' memories. Mr. Magic walks the Twilight? I don't know what this word is. Twilight line between wonder and terror where all the best childhood games are played. But basically we have a story of a former child star who reunites with her cast members from a show in the 90s that she filmed. Apparently there was a tragedy that happened. Did I add this to my TBR? Did I already talk about this? I can't remember. But apparently it's been 30 years later. They want to know what happened in the tragedy during the tragedy of the show's filming. So it's kind of become a cult classic since then. There's a lot of books like this right now. What's with all the movie books? It's kind of funny. But it's about friendship, the feeling of belonging, how things change as you grow up, and your perception of things. There's no like surviving video of the show or what happened, and no evidence of who directed or produced this show. So it's almost as if like the show didn't even exist, like almost like a Mandela effect kind of thing. It's like everyone remembers this, but where's the proof, you know? So I think that's just like them coming back, trying to find out what happened, and I guess spooky stuff starts to go on. So I'm really excited about this. Again, you know, this month there's quite a few books that have to do with film and cinema, and I'm totally into that. This also reminds me a little bit of the premise with what's the movie? Oh, Nope, where like the side story in Nope, where it's about like the people and them filming that show, and it's been long forgotten, but like what happened with the show, and kind of like the horrors of it, and like a total huge tragedy going on and people dying at the during filming. So I think that's an interesting premise. Like I wish that Nope was almost just about that, because I thought that was really good. So this comes out on August 8th. I do have a NetGalley like pre-release of it, and I will definitely be reading that this month. Thank you so much for watching today and seeing what I have up next for reading. Now please stay tuned for future reading vlogs. I will be reading some of these in those vlogs and giving pretty in-depth reviews. I will also have my July wrap up coming up soon. I don't know how many I've read. I've read 15 or 16 books, I believe, so far. So a lot of good ones. Some of them were from, well, actually a lot of them were from my July TBR. So if you're interested in what I've thought of any of those, please stay tuned to watch that once it's up. It should be up in the next week or two. But yeah, I look forward to what's coming up with the reading vlogs and getting even more into spooky season and horror. I can't wait for it, and just to bring you along with me on that journey. And yeah, if you have any questions, recommendations, please leave them below. I would love to chat and answer with you guys, and kind of see if you have any recommendations for me to make the videos better. Please let me know. So thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you here soon.